Welcome to part 2 of the bookshelf tour. In part 1, we went over what's on this shelf behind me, and now we're going to do this one. This is more, so I would call this my husband's shelf, but I've read some of the books on here too, and I want to read a lot of these books. So starting in this corner, we've got books by James Knapp. Kind of this whole section to here is sci-fi. Next, there are 2 books by Michael Colby. And then we have 1 card by Christy Golden, and it is a StarCraft book. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books by Orson Scott Card. Then we've got Sword Art Online what are these called? Light novels. We've got Sword Art Online light novels, and I think these are all the ones that have come out so far. And so if you've seen the anime Sword Art Online, each of these is like 1 floor of the game, and so it goes into a lot more detail about what happens, and there's like all new characters and stuff. And yeah. The next book on here is Shad M. Brooks, Shadow of the Conqueror, and I got this for my husband for Christmas, and Shad's YouTube channel is Shadiversity. If you don't know who that is, but you somehow found my channel, first of all, go check him out. Second of all, how did you find my channel? But glad you're here. Anyways. Yeah, he's really interesting. I still need to read that, but I'm certain it is good because his YouTube channel is good, and also there are rumors of them making a movie of this soon. Then we have Flatland, and this is a really, really interesting book because it's about shapes crossing dimensions and talking to each other. So like the dot doesn't understand the line, doesn't understand the cube, and so it's like 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, and like how all of the ones above can understand what's below them, but the ones below can't understand what's above. It's really interesting. And then we have Infinity Blade Awakening by Brandon Sanderson. And the only other thing on here is a laptop case with nothing in it, which is right now is just holding up the books. Okay, right here we've got some Fallout official game guides. Even though there's 2 of them, I think one is like the first half of the game, and this other is the second half of the game. Then we've got Orson Scott Card's The Hive, and this is down here because it does not fit on the top shelf with the other Orson Scott Card stuff, and also looks really nice next to books at the same size. Then we have Skyward and Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, and then we have Isaac Asimov's Science Fiction Treasury, and this is basically like the Twilight Zone, but in book form, with all the weird stories. That's how I would describe it. Is that how you would describe it? Anyways, it's got a bunch of different short stories in it. And then right here, hardcover Hunger Games trilogy. I don't think I need to explain that one further. And we've got Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I believe this was his debut novel? Yes, this was his debut novel, and it's also the first one of his that I read, and I really, really like it. If you haven't read it, read this one as well. Giving you guys lots of book suggestions. Okay, then I've got Out of the Dark by David Weaver, and we've got a couple of Stephen Kuntz books, and then Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, and Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. And that kind of concludes the fantasy and science fiction of all of our novels that we have. And right here, That's my husband's laptop. And then we've got a bunch of notebooks. Then this is the book Pastimes. I've had this from when I was a recreation management major before I changed to elementary education. And I mean, it's about pastimes and leisure and stuff like that. Then I've got camera manual, bunch of road trip books, and an atlas, and then some leadership books, and then I've got 2 books on Sir Ernest Shackleton, real explorer. He went to Antarctica. His boat got stranded in the ice and then sunk, and him and the 22 men lived. Was it him and 22 other men, or 22 men including himself? I can't remember that detail right now. But they lived for 2 years out on the ice floats surrounding Antarctica until they were able to make it to Elephant Island. And they all lived through it and made it back to England. True story. It's so interesting. It doesn't feel like you're reading history when you read it, because it's just so fantastic. There's even this part where this giant leopard seal was like chasing them and broke through the ice, and they're running for their lives, and one of the crew members brought his banjo the whole way. Yeah, really good. And then the last 2 books here are Alan and Mike's really cool backpacking book, which is a hilarious backpacking manual. It's got lots of pictures and diagrams and stuff. It's very tongue-in-cheek. And then this book, which is John of the Mountains. It's the unpublished journals of John Muir. If you don't know who John Muir is, you need to do some history on the Transcendental period in the U.S. But he was a big advocate for national parks and stuff. I found this when I was doing a research project. I found a copy of it in my university's library, and I just fell in love with the book instantly and told my parents that that's what I wanted for Christmas. And I had tried looking for it in Amazon, in stores, like all over the internet. I could not find it. Somehow my magical mother found it and got me a copy, and I don't know where she got it or how she got it, but she found it. And it's just really cool to read. It totally transports you to the different places he went, and there's a lot of experiences where he's traveling through what are now national parks, but at the time were just like rugged, unexplored terrain and area and stuff like that. So, very good. Very hard to find. I don't know how she found it. It still boggles my mind to this day. So, yeah. That's bookshelf number 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.